Advance Auto Parts has better parts and better service.
We interrupt this Advance Auto Parts commercial with big news. Now, during the Advance Tax Madness Savings Event, you can save 15% when you spend $50 or more, and 25% when you spend over $150. Just text the word SAVE to 36898 for your coupon. Good in-store or online. Offer ends March 12th. Now back to our original commercial.
Only at Advance Auto Parts and select CarQuest locations. Let's get you back on the road.
If you must blink, do it now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to Cinema Savants.
The answer to what is happening to you is here.
Your weekly dose of movie news.
I like this ship. You know, it's exciting.
Movie reviews.
Wait, that's not a monster. That's a man wearing shoulder pads.
And all those rumor kind of things that keep popping up.
The only thing we don't have a god for is premature ejaculation. But I hear that that's coming quickly.
Here's your host.
Look at me, I didn't invite them.
Todd Vandenberg.
If I'm not me, who the hell am I?
And Rob Steele.
I can't speak for the other guys, but I'm in it for the money. I don't care if you go to jail.
That boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
All I ask is a tall ship and a star to sail her by. All aboard, everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Cinema Savant. We've got another great one for you today. Joining us again, our returning champion, Todd Vandenberg, and I'm your man, Steve Harvey. Okay, maybe I'm not. But, Steve.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, all right.
Where are we going to go with this? Gee, right straight to the Oscars with...
straight to it.
No one thought that anyone would Steve Harvey this. But, if you're going to Steve Harvey something, may as well go for the big one.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He did, apparently. Wow, the Oscars seem like so much longer ago. They really do.
They do.
But, yeah.
A lot has happened since then. But, the Oscars were... I try to watch the Oscars mainly because I know someone is going to give a cool speech. It might be funny. It might be heartfelt. It might, but someone always gives something like that. This year it was Viola Davis, and it was just a wonderful speech. And if you haven't seen it, just look on YouTube, because you need to see it, because I'm not about to try to replicate what she said. It was just an awesome speech. The fun moment, like you said, though, was at the end, when they announced La La Land, which to me was the worst of the 9 nominees. Not saying it was bad, but it was the worthy, and it won. And I'm sitting there thinking, God, that really sucks. And then luckily I got my wish because it didn't win. And if you're listening to this, you probably care about movies, so you probably know what happened. But basically, one of the doofuses with Pricewaterhouse, who will no longer be working with the Oscars, by the way, was busy tweeting all night long and taking selfies and not paying attention to what the hell's going on. And instead of throwing away the duplicate envelope when Emma Stone won her Oscar for Best Actress, not deserved, by the way, like he should have, he handed that envelope to the person who then handed it to the presenters, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. And initially, Warren Beatty got some heat because he announced the wrong one. It was like, well, it wasn't Warren to begin with. He looked at it a couple times and stumbled and looked at it because he saw the name Emma Stone, and he thought, that doesn't sound like the producer of La La Land. Why is her name on this? And Faye Dunaway was giving him grief because she thought he was goofing around, and he wasn't. He was legitimately trying to figure out what the hell is wrong, because why would he assume they handed him the wrong envelope? Because it never happened in 88 previous years, so why would it happen this time? So he finally just said, here, look at it. And then she just read it because she saw the name La La Land. So they all come out, and luckily the winners, which turned out to be one of the losers of La La Land, producers were extremely kind and generous, and instead of throwing a hissy fit, said, oh, no, this is wrong. Moonlight won. You guys deserved it. Come on up here. Get your Oscar. No, I'm not kidding. So Moonlight came up, and they didn't really give their prepared speeches because they were just completely blown out of the water by it. But, yeah, Moonlight would not have been my pick for Best Picture, but to me, it deserved it, along with a couple other choices I would have made. But La La Land didn't, so I was glad at least that the correct choice was made. And it was unfortunate that Beatty initially got the ribs like Steve Harvey, but Beatty didn't do anything. The only thing he didn't do correctly was just look over at the Pricewaterhouse guy and say, what the hell is wrong with you? This is the wrong envelope. But apparently the category is printed on the bottom of the card in like 8-point font, and the guy's 80 years old. So as we discussed in pre-production,
1 point
next year it'll probably be huge. Yeah, exactly. It'll be huge, and you'll know what the hell the category is, and you'll know that they got it right instead of what a colossal screw up. So still, it made it more entertaining, and some of the buzz was around that because they were saying that Jimmy Kimmel, the host, that he didn't look properly shocked and amazed and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, come on, the guy's a professional comedian. He's been around forever. His job is to kind of make light of it. His job is not to go up there and do a foghorn, leghorn like Jeff Sessions and be flabbergasted that this happened under his watch. He just, made light of it and went on. I mean, that's his job. So
that's the wrong category, boy. You need to get. Yeah.
It would have been maybe Jeff Sessions. He should have been it. But yeah, now it never happened before, but now it's a thing that happened, and a deserving winner was named and made the Oscars more entertaining. But some of the thing really kills me is that some people are saying it's like, well, they did it for ratings. It's like, you don't do something for ratings when the show's almost over, because no one's going to flip it on. Oh, did you hear what just happened? Because by the time you turn it on, it's off. So no, it wasn't for ratings, morons. You would have done something for ratings early, and then people would turn it on. It's like, yeah, well, they got buzz. It's not the kind of buzz they want. So no, it was just human error, not some weird conspiracy theory. Grow up. Oh my God.
My wife made me watch it, basically, because I don't do award shows, and something that just confused the crap out of me was we need to play everybody off. Short speeches. And then Jimmy Kimmel brings in a tour bus.
Right.
And that took, half the show, it felt like.
That's the Oscars for you. They always pare down the speeches because they've got bits that they want to do. And they want to do production numbers and stuff. And it's like, and I was okay with the tour bit, except it did last too long. But dropping from the ceiling occasionally. But, again, for most of these people, this is like their shining moment in their professional lives. They're not going to go up there again.
Right.
They may never get nominated again. It's like, okay, you have 30 seconds. And by the way, we got a 7-minute, 45-second segment for some random tourists to come in and Jimmy to crack some jokes. No, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's not at all. Unfortunately, what they're always like. Sadly.
Yeah, I'm going to make a segue. Bear with me here. Two-wheeled vehicle that doesn't fall over, my segue. Into the yes/no kind of sure what category. This week I have no yeses because it was that kind of week. I got a lot of everything else though, including something about Moonlight, which is why I'm segueing this in here. I don't know if you noticed this, but they were nominated for Best Editing, right? Where you'd think consistency would be a big thing here. And the clip they showed was a guy walking toward an exit door. It has the big push bar on the door, right? And he walks toward it, and we see him start to open the door, and then we cut to the other side of the door, and all of a sudden now it's a pull door that he's walking through. And it looks like the same kind of door in the same kind of building because both doors are this kind of obnoxious blue. And I'm thinking, if that's what you're going with Best Editing.
Well, to be fair, it was probably filmed in a Miami-Dade County public school, and they have some strange ideas. So that might actually be a real door. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, but it had a bar.
I know. That was an odd clip. That was an odd clip to show.
I did not like that. I'm not knocking the movie. I'm just saying, if you're going to pick a clip that makes it look like you edited good, and that was not it.
Right, exactly. I agree.
Another note.
And it is a very good movie.
Suicide Squad.
Yes.
How the hell did this happen? Suicide Squad won an Oscar for Best Makeup.
Yeah.
Over Star Trek, which had some great makeup in it. Actually did have makeup in it. And Star Wars, not even nominated. So I was thinking, maybe they have screwed this up so completely that Moonlight should give their Oscar back, because if they screwed it up this much and Moonlight actually won, you see where I'm going with it? I'm not knocking, again, I am not knocking Moonlight.
I see where you're going.
There were some other screw-ups in this. I went back and watched Suicide Squad this week. Because
really?
I watch movies, but you don't have to. And not the only makeup we really get in that movie is Harley Quinn's white face and her colored tips, and Croc, who looks like he should have been, maybe he'd come in second or third on Face Off.
Killer Croc did not look great. He looked okay, but it's like I really don't see how that's Oscar winning. And the Enchantress was just kind of like whatever.
If you watch Lucha Underground and you see the character Drago come out, his mask is better. And he's a professional wrestler. So
it is actually.
Drago, actually, if we're being picky, Drago's got a pretty awesome costume.
Yeah, he does. It's very cool.
Everything. Those are my no's this week, and why I'm not going to try to. I'm going to try to not watch the Oscars next year because I don't get them. Several in the kinda not sure category. First off, CBS has canceled the first show of the season. It was called Doubt. They canceled it after 2 episodes. Did you ever watch Doubt?
I doubt that I did, sir. No, I did not.
I don't even know that I heard of it. So, hey, congratulations to Doubt. You're the first show to be canceled this year. Yeah, because that's a yay. Godzilla news. Vera Farmiga, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, has joined the cast of the sequel to Godzilla, and this is the sequel to the 2014 version.
Sounds right.
I want to ask you this. Do you think that possibly, and this has nothing to do with the casting really, it's just a question, because I know you're into the Godzilla movies. Do you think that this time we could possibly have Godzilla attack during the daytime so we can see what the hell's going on?
I think they may have a better budget this time around, and we'll have more Godzilla. It didn't bother me that much, but it bothered a lot of people that there wasn't as much Godzilla, and you didn't get to see, like you said, a lot of the stuff was at night, which makes it easier on the special effects crew, to be honest. So
my whole thing about that movie was I can't see what the hell's going on. I may as well watch it with my eyes closed because there's nothing on the screen. Anyway,
that would be good news. That would be good news that they would have more Godzilla and more visible Godzilla. And yes, it was 2014. Excellent. Excellent call, sir.
Let's see, another news. Jared Leto is sought for the reboot of Tron.
Why?
Now, this is where I go into kinda, because in the first place I'm going, yay, another Tron movie, because I liked the Tron movies. Yeah. And at the same time I'm going, no, because shouldn't be rebooting it. You should be continuing where you left off after the last one.
Right. Exactly.
So,
my why is the reboot and Jared Leto, because based on his most recent work, that was a train wreck. And obviously that's equally the fault of the script and the director. So a third of the poor credit goes to Leto, but that his performance as the Joker was almost as bad as Jesse's Eisenberg's performance was as Lex Luthor. It was like really bad. So I don't know. I would give him a timeout for a while. I would not put him in a high profile picture. Let him do something small. No. Because he needs to get that crap out of his system.
Another thing, and we're going to have more on this series in a minute, but Patrick Stewart announced that he's going to retire from the role of Professor Xavier. And I'm kind of torn, because when I cast the X-Men movie back in 1989, and even back then, I said, you know what, Patrick Stewart is Professor Xavier, because he just is. So I loved that casting idea, but as if you've listened to the show before, I hate the scripts. So part of me is saying that's a shame that Patrick Stewart is leaving, but another part of me is going, maybe we can get on and do it right this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just me, I guess.
Well, even even for Professor X, he is getting a little long in the tooth to play that role, and because they do have some action sequences for him. I'm not saying he's some doddering, Well,
I mean, he's in a wheelchair anyway. So.
Yeah, he's not Mr. Glass. They do pick him up and throw him around. Like in every film, they have to do that. But yeah, right. it's time to move on. I mean, if Hugh Jackman can do his last performance as Wolverine, it certainly makes sense that it's time for Professor X to hang up his razor. He doesn't have to shave his head anymore. For whatever reason, he doesn't probably have to. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Which I am glad for Hugh Jackman that he's done with Wolverine, because as he said when they first talked about it, he gets to eat bread now. So good for you, Mr. Jackman. I'm happy that you can finally eat bread, because you don't have to be this incredibly ripped human being anymore. And now men can take a sigh of relief and think, wow, that's one less impossible standard I have to live up to. So we'll get to the movie Logan later on.
It's not movie related. There's a guy in my neighborhood who's like that. He's just
depressing.
He's unfair. He looks like Dave Bautista and Antonio Banderas had a kid, and that's no.
That's wrong. That's very wrong. Yeah. Do you make your wife wear a blindfold or something, or at least like really dark glasses so she can't see that well?
Honey, him.
How
that's just cheating. Anyway. Meanwhile, back at movie news. Actually, it's TV news this time, because we're going to the X-Men TV series, where an actor named Sean Teal, who I am not familiar with at all, has been cast as the character Eclipse, who has the mutant ability to absorb light and redirect it as lasers and whatever. Now, my problem with this is the character of Eclipse sounds suspiciously like the character of Nightlight in a series of books that was, God, who wrote those books? Oh, yeah, it was me. I wrote a character exactly like this. It came out 11 years ago. And so I'm taking this as, their revenge against me for not liking any of their damn movies. Now they're going to start stealing my damn character. And
I smell a lawsuit. I smell a lawsuit coming.
I probably can't, but I might try at some point.
Maybe the president will sue for you. He loves to sue people. So.
Yeah, he doesn't win very much, though.
Nah, that's true. He doesn't.
But moving on, that's just a little. That's me venting a bit. Kind of like the dude in my neighborhood. Anyway,
beyond the problem of them stealing your character, well, are there really not enough X-Men characters for them to use? They had to create a new character. Was that really necessary?
Every character I have seen about in this TV series is not in any of the books. It doesn't sound like an X-Men TV series, and I'm gonna do a throwback for all the nerds in the house. It sounds like a DP7. Do you remember DP7?
Yep.
Part of Marvel Comics' New Universe, which was I thought it was an interesting idea back in the 80s. They said, we're going to start a brand new universe. No Spider-Man, no Hulk. We're having all new characters. And the equivalent of mutants in this series were all mutants on the run from a government place that wanted to, use them for their own purposes and whatever. And that's exactly what this X-Men series sounds like, which is not at all the way the X-Men series goes. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's annoying.
Not quite sure why they're. But then again, as you've said many times, and again, we'll get to it, but for whatever reason, Fox is not really fond of using any existing material other than just, let's take the title and a very, very overall glimpse of the original concept, and we'll do our own thing.
Right.
I don't know why. Unless it's the Dark Phoenix saga, because they'll probably make that damn thing 15 times before the Earth burns into a cinder. They love that damn story.
Yeah. And they're not going to do it right yet, which there's the annoying part.
No kidding.
This week I've got a big what, because there was an interview done with a great actor by the name of Danny Glover,
Indeed.
who was he was supposed to be cast in a movie. He was one of 3 finalists in a movie where the role ultimately went to Christopher Lambert. Now picture the two of them next to each other in your head. Danny Glover was supposed to be Raiden in Mortal Kombat. And
really?
That falls into the I'm sorry, what category?
Mm-hmm.
Because that just doesn't make any sense. I don't get that. God forbid we cast an Asian person in an Asian role, but still, I've been trying to picture that and it just doesn't work.
Makes as much sense as Christopher Lambert, but no, it doesn't work. And no. Lambert really didn't work either because yeah.
Let's see, I'm not sure if this falls into the category of what or duh, which is why I put it in the middle. I looked up something this week about the TV show Arrow because I like Arrow. Arrow is a good show, but I had forgotten the name of a character, so I looked it up. And on the website I looked it up. It said, here's a list of other shows you might like. And on the list was Arrow. I'm like, oh, you mean if I like the show, I might like the show? What? Who decided to program this site?
That's nice. just in case you didn't realize you liked the show you're looking at. Hey, you might like the show that you're talking about here.
I know. And here's the official duh, because we actually touched on this last week, but the trailer came out for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Kurt Russell appears in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and people wanted to know, what is Kurt Russell going to look like in Guardians of the Galaxy 2? He looks like Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he looks like Kurt Russell.
Except he's gray, which is fine because he's 65 now. He will be 66 on the 17th of this month. He's allowed to be gray.
He is allowed to be gray. And so, yeah, you don't put Kurt Russell in a movie unless you let him be Kurt Russell. Exactly.
Duh. But that actually goes into a segue of something else, because there were a lot of good trailers that came out this week, like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes.
What is it? Pirates of the Caribbean 5. I'm not sure if it's Prometheus 2 or Alien 8. It could be Alien 5 if you don't count the Alien Creed movies. Whichever one is next in the series, however you want to count it. Yeah. And you were mentioning before the show trailers for movies called Life and something about a guy named Kong.
Yes, a large gentleman.
Which of these actually stood out as the best to you? That made you watched the trailer and went, yes, I want to see that.
Compared to previous expectations, I'll say Kong, because I was not particularly enthused because I figured, even Peter Jackson's, there's just something off about Peter Jackson's version of King Kong to me. I like it and it's good, but it's missing something for me. So I was thinking, there's a 50-50 chance they're going to screw this up. And to me, the trailer looks great and has made me want to go see it. In fact, John C. Reilly is in it and is hilarious in the clips. That helps a lot. And the creatures look different. I mean, a very cool creature design. Kong looks awesome. So actually, it really makes me want to see it. I am looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 2 more, but I was anyway. The trailers could be awful. And I would think they did it deliberately because they were afraid maybe they'll have to evacuate theaters because they'll be too packed and they don't want to get in dicey with the fire marshals. But no, they didn't make bad trailers. They made great trailers. So as far as affecting my choice and my thoughts of wanting to go see it, Kong, I think, did a better job because expectations, for me at least, were kind of low. Expectations for Guardians of the Galaxy are through the roof, and the trailers make it look like they'll do that. So Life looks interesting, but as we were talking in pre-production, the extended trailer, there's a scene in Life basically is a international crew of scientists. They're up in the International Space Station, and a probe comes back from Mars, and it has life on it. Woo! Yay! There's life on another planet. And they're culturing this life. And there's a scene in the initial trailers that came out where the guy has his hands, like in the Waldos, where his hands are in through the glove into the sealed chamber. And apparently this creature, even though it's at that point kind of small, attacks his hand. And he's screaming, and they're talking about getting him out, and they're talking about, no, we'll leave him in because we'll contaminate everything. So you don't know what happens. Well, now in the new trailer, and it's not a spoiler because the trailer's out, he's okay because they showed him later on, and he's got like a bandage over the stump where his hand used to be. So thanks for building up the suspense. And now we know that he lived through that. Why do you put that in the trailer? And no, if that pisses you off that I'm ruining it for you, no, I didn't. The trailer did. So, awful trailer. Awful. You spent weeks building up suspense for this character, and now it's like, well, he survives that part. It's like, what's the point? He didn't reveal any universal amazing truth in his segment in the new trailer, so there was no point whatsoever in doing that, unless they had a lot of people crying and worrying that he died, so they need to, soothe them and make them realize he's okay for now. Maybe he'll die later. So really bad decision in that trailer. That was crap. So Life, your trailer sucks. Kong was excellent. Guardians of the Galaxy, excellent.
Pirates of the Caribbean almost made me interested until I saw that they did we're going to make him younger with computer-generated graphics thing on Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Kind of went, don't do that. Because
the trailer looks interesting, but I had the same thought as you did. It's just kind of like, you still get, I don't know. Just get a younger actor.
It did look more like the first one, which was obviously the best one, I think. But at the same time, it was kind of, oh, goody, another one. Whatever. And then there's Alien 8, Prometheus 2, whatever. Where I kind of just, I was numb to the whole thing. It just I didn't care. It looked, it's going to be another Alien movie. Yay. Is Hudson in it? No. Hicks? No. Ripley? No. Why? Don't know.
I have hopes. I have high hopes for it, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you are, just because they've lost a lot of their moment. Prometheus was an interesting movie, which doesn't mean it was not exactly pulse-pounding excitement. And Aliens lost the thread long ago with Resurrection, which was interesting, and 3, which was an interesting failure. It's been so long since there's been a good Alien. I mean, a really good Alien film, because the first 2 are awesome. The first one is one of the best sci-fi horror films ever, and the second one is one of the best sci-fi action films ever. And after that, they just kind of like, eh. So they got a lot of territory to reclaim.
Yeah. Speaking of remaking stuff, though, we finally have news on Star Trek Discovery, which is the new Star Trek series. They're looking for launching it sometime in the third quarter of this year. So Star Trek may be back on TV this year, which really I'm good with.
I'm good with too, but it makes you wonder what are the problems, because it was supposed to be on at this point already. It was supposed to be late first quarter originally. So I wonder if it's problems with the show, or is it problems with, are they really thinking of rethinking this whole concept of putting it on CBS All Access instead of just putting it on CBS or Showtime or whatever, one of their other venues? It's kind of an odd thing to hype this as being like one of the centerpieces of their new on-demand service and then delay it. And because the news has been nothing but about it. It's not exactly generating a lot of enthusiasm when they keep pushing it back, which is unfortunate.
Seeing where it might be coming out on Netflix too,
which would be great.
I cannot verify that, but if it does, bonus points. There's a good idea.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I think that would be better for it. Other TV shows, they finally finished casting the Inhumans TV series. And I got to say, I'm not entirely sure about some of these. Anson Mount, who is a guy I had to look up because I never watched the show Hell on Wheels, even though he played a character named Jim Steele that turns out was not my uncle. Who knew? Anyway, he's playing Black Bolt. Let's see, Serinda Swan is playing Medusa, and Ken Leung is playing Karnak. And I can't tell you about any of these guys because I don't know. And Isabel Cornish is playing Crystal, who ended up being married simultaneously to the Human Torch and Quicksilver, so that ought to go over well.
Yes, it certainly should. I wonder if Anson Mount, hopefully he knows a lot about the character, because wouldn't it suck if he signed a deal where he gets like so much per line? That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Surely he does.
You don't know, Black Bolt is mute, basically. Because if he speaks, it activates his sonic scream, which levels cities, so he doesn't say anything. There is word that Lockjaw will be in the series. Lockjaw being a roughly 2,000-pound dog with the ability to teleport. It's not going to make any more sense if I say that again.
No, it won't. But that to me, that's great news. I was like, okay, they're going to go for it. Yeah, be interesting to see how they can pull it off.
Something else I'm going to throw out, and by throw out I mean into a trash can. News from Gotham, where they have cast Ra's al Ghul, and I actually like this casting, but I have a problem with the. I actually really like the actor, but I also have a problem with the actor. They cast, and some of you may recognize the name, Alexander Siddig, who played Dr. Julian Bashir on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, who I thought, I'm looking at him now, and he fits the character just fine.
Yeah.
I know he is capable of pulling it off. Here's the problem I have with him, his name. Because if you watched Star Trek, he started out as Siddig el-Fadil. And around season 5, he said, too many people are having trouble pronouncing my name, so he changed it to Alexander Siddig, and that's my problem, because I can pronounce El-Fadil, I can pronounce Alexander. If you're going to change a name, change the one no one knows how the hell to pronounce, which is Siddig. I'm just saying,
You're saying he should have gone with Smith, is what you're saying. Or Steele.
I don't get that.
And he could be your uncle.
He could be. And yet, uncle. I think I'm older than he is, so that doesn't count. No, I'm not.
No.
That would be weird. Let's see. Other movie news. They announced that Lego 2 is going to be the Lego Movie 2 is going to be a space musical.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
That's hilarious.
There is a movie theater in Alabama that has decided to ban the upcoming Beauty and the Beast movie because there's a gay character in there. I can't help but think, really?
Oh my God!
Really? That's why you're going to? No, don't do that.
Yeah.
But this hit me earlier this week because my daughter, the youngest one, came home with something from her school. It's a ticket. A free ticket to go see the circus. I'll tie this together. Give me a minute. And it says, the last time you will ever see an elephant in our circus. And that's a big thing now where, Ringling Brothers has said,
right.
We're removing all elephants, whatever this circus is, which is not Ringling Brothers, they're removing all the elephants. And that's something that's going away now is elephants in circuses, which raises the question in my mind, why are they remaking Dumbo?
Maybe Dumbo will be the last circus elephant. Maybe that's the point of the film. Seriously, maybe that's why they're going.
You know what? I hadn't thought of.
Why they're doing a live action version? Well, they're redoing all of their catalog as live action films apparently. So it's next on the list.
Yeah.
Why not? So yeah, that's kind of an odd thing to redo, but maybe and it certainly would fit. So maybe that's how they're going with it, but. I am not at all interested in the live-action version of Dumbo, like zero. And it might be a great movie when it comes out, but
I don't care if Will Smith is in it. No.
And
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Will.
So,
who makes
you saw some movies this week?
Bad movies? I did see some movies this week. I'll start out with the one that. I'll wind up with the one I liked the most. The other two, I liked all three of these. I have to say I liked all three of these. I saw Get Out. I saw that first. Get Out. It has been a critical success and a box office success. Box office is second. Quickly, box office numbers. Logan, 85 this week. Get Out in its second week, 26 million. Something called The Shack, 16 million. The Lego Batman movie. just under 12, Before I Fall, just under 5, John Wick Chapter 2, 4.7, Hidden Figures 3.8, The Great Wall 3.5 million, and we'll talk more about The Great Wall's box office later, and 50 Shades Darker, which that's dropped down, and La La Land, and blah 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 blah. Moonlight is down quite a bit down the list, but the increase it's made much more since it got the Best Picture thing. It has now grossed $25 million, which, yeah, that's like chicken feed, except they made it for, I think, $3 million. So nice job, Moonlight.
Right.
Good job for them.
You still
Get Out. Yeah, Get Out was made for $4.5 million. It has now grossed almost $76 million.
You win more.
I don't think it's a great movie, but it's a really good movie, and it fits into the category of what I think of as like the new horror films, where it's not just some stupid ass slasher movie. They're not just a bunch of shock. It's suspenseful. There's a lot of humor in the film, which is shouldn't be all that surprising when you see that Jordan Peele of Key and Peele is the director and the writer. So, and it's not full of laughs or anything, but there's a character in it who's very much he is comic relief, but he's not a moron. He is an intelligent character, and he actually is a key point of the story. Basically, it's an interracial couple. The man is black. He's going to meet the girlfriend's parents for the first time. They don't know he's black. He's kind of worried about it. So it's about racial themes, but they're very welcoming and accepting. But it turns out they have ulterior motives. And that's what the movie is about, is what the ulterior motives are. And he's getting all these vibes about how these people are really racist underneath, but on the surface, they're all welcoming and happy. And it turns out it's much worse than that. Very, very good movie. I don't think it's like one of the best movies of the year by any means. Like on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's got like a 96% fresh, which is damn good. That just basically means that almost every critic likes it. And so I wouldn't go see it thinking, oh man, this is an awesome movie, but I would definitely go see it thinking, hey, this is a really good movie. It's entertaining. It's suspenseful. You don't quite see where some of the twists are going. There's enough comedy in it that lightens it up. So definitely a good flick and awesome numbers. I mean, I'm very happy that this is making a lot of money, because these kind of movies need to get made, because it's intelligent. It's well done. It's not some stupid piece of crap, which we see all too much of that coming out.
We'll have a trailer for something later.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to move on to the movie I like the best, which was John Wick Chapter 2. John Wick was kind of a cult success. John Wick came out a couple of years ago. It made about $40-odd million, which is not a whole lot of money, obviously, but It didn't cost a lot of money to make. So overall, it was quite successful. John Wick, and it was basically about a hitman who's retired, and some guys kind of decide to screw with him, and they kill his dog. And because they killed his dog, he decides to kill everybody responsible, and he does it in very cool, creative ways. And it's done in kind of a realistic thing. He's wearing a Kevlar vest, for instance, and he gets shot. But that doesn't make him impervious. It just means the bullet won't kill him. It doesn't mean it won't bruise him and maybe crack a rib and everything else. It's very well done. Fight scenes are awesome. Keanu Reeves is excellent in it. John Wick Chapter 2 pretty much picks up where that left off. He gets pulled back into it again against his will. And the body count in this thing... No, they actually did not kill his dog, but he was forced to do a job which he didn't want to do, and then they set him up to take the fall for it. And he's not happy about that. So in the trailer for it, he has a great line, which he says, when they come for him, he says, "Tell them I'll kill them. I'll kill them all." And he just says this it's not like bravado. It's just a statement of fact. I will kill them all. And he has already killed he killed more people in this movie than Clint Eastwood did in The Outlaw Josie Wales, which to me is the highest body count I can ever remember seeing in a film, other than like Superman and Man of Steel, because he kills like millions of people, but that's besides the point. Like Josie Wales killed, I think, 127 people. Because we sat there and counted one time when I went to see it, and it was awesome. John Wick. There's plenty of exposition, but it's not boring. It's just character development. He kills a few people because he has to. Well, then it gets into this ballet of death, which must last for 35 or 40 minutes, where it's just endless killing in new, creative, cool ways. And these people are trying to kill him too. And it's awesome. I mean, I think I wrote something on Facebook. It's like, John Woo would cry seeing this film. It's so good. It's so cool. And Keanu Reeves is great, and it definitely sets up, spoiler, for a sequel, which is that John Wick does. It's just so
not
good.
Another one.
And it's doing well at the box office, which is great because they will make another one, and they should, because it's a cool character. They do a great job of making you. It was brilliant how they set you up to like this hitman in the first film, because his wife had died and he'd retired and he just had this puppy and they killed the dog. And it's like, how can you not feel bad for a guy who's gone through that? So even though he kills people for money, he's your hero. he punishes all these people for killing his dog, and that's why he kills everybody. This one, he's killing them because they're trying to kill him. Yeah, you're rooting for the bad guy, and he's very cool movie, very fun. It's very violent and very bloody. No, do not take your kids to it unless you want them to be serial killers. Like the lady who took what I estimated to be like a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old to go see Logan, which is R-rated, which is very violent and very bloody. And it's like, yeah, okay, lady, good choice there. Good parenting job.
Did you not read the letter?
She thought R meant or good. The movie, and we'll talk about this at length. This is why I chose this last. I had not read the original stories, Old Man Logan, that this is based on, before I saw it. I did read the stories today. I'm glad I didn't read them first, because I thought it was a good movie. The best Wolverine movie that they've done, the best standalone Wolverine movie, which doesn't take much, honestly. No. The best X-Man outside of Deadpool, which is awesome. The best X-Man type character since X2, so that's a long, long damn time. But having said that, they took the basic premise of it's the future. It's actually 2029 in this version, which is not as far in the future as Old Man Logan is. And he's not as old as he is in Old Man Logan, because Old Man Logan is like 50 years after his peak, whereas this is obviously more like about 15, 20, depending on what their timeline is. In the book, he is retired. He's done with killing. He has a family. He's just farming. And he is called into action to go cross-country to deliver a package. Well, in this, he's called into action to deliver a package, but he doesn't have a family, so he's not found any peace. He's still just kind of drifting. He's a limo driver. None of this is a spoiler or anything. So Logan has not finally found any semblance of peace at all, unlike in the book, which makes the events in the book harder to take for the character, because he's finally gotten away from it all to some extent. In the film and in the book, there's a terrible tragedy that happened in the past, happened in Westchester. In the book, Logan was responsible for it. Wolverine was. Well, in the movie, they decided to shift that over to Professor X. He's not in the book. He's in the movie, which is cool because it's Patrick Stewart, and it's nice to see how they played Patrick Stewart, and he feels grief for it. But the problem is, it takes away the motivation for Logan to be a peaceful character, which he is in the book. He attempts to be in the book, and because he feels extreme guilt for what he did. And I'm not going to say what he did in the book. I'm not going to say what happened in the movie. The problem with me is, everybody know. Well, if you're listening, you probably know Fox doesn't have rights to all the Marvel characters. In the book, a lot of other Marvel characters were involved. For instance, the Hulk was involved. Obviously, he can't be involved in a Fox film. So it makes sense that character is not in here. But there are plenty of characters they have access to, like all the X-Men characters. For whatever reason...
There are Hulk-like characters that they could have used.
Yes, there are. And they chose a very weak villain and a very weak secondary villain, and you can interchange them depending on who you think is the main villain and who's the secondary. But both of them are very unimpressive and boring. The Reavers in it, big deal. I mean, basically they're thugs. So, fine, whatever. They're cannon fodder because obviously Wolverine's going to kick ass because it's a Wolverine movie and it's rated R. So there's lots of claws through the head and beheadings and all sorts of cool stuff. X-23 is in the movie, which Rob was pissed off about a long time ago because X-23 is not in the book. And X-23 in this case is, I believe, a 10 or 12-year-old girl, which, again, none of the original stuff. And it's fine to change it up. But if you're going to change it, make the story better. they made the story weaker because they took away Wolverine's driving need to be a pacifist. So he doesn't have to be pushed as far at all to be violent again. So they took away all that guilt because it takes so much more rage. They took away, any semblance of a great villain for him to go against. And they throw in a bunch of – there's a scene where there's a bunch of young mutants running around at the end, and the bad guys are chasing them, and they're catching these young mutants. And for whatever reason, they don't feel like fighting back until they're actually almost on top of them. They've demonstrated they have mutant powers earlier, but just because, well, then Wolverine doesn't have to save them if they can save themselves. Again, it's just lazy writing, and it pisses me off so much. It's like, figure out a way that they couldn't use the mutant powers or that they were overcome instead of most of them just get captured not trying anything at all. Like, really? You're that damn stupid? You couldn't figure out something better to do? And again, none of these characters are in the book, and they could so easily.
I'm not one of the characters that's going to be captured, but that envelope, it was wrong.
Exactly. They so easily could have adapted the book, changed a few characters over to the characters they have the rights to, made a much more compelling movie. And I'm saying I enjoyed the movie. It's good, but this could have been a great movie instead of a good movie. And it's Fox's fault for again thinking that for whatever reason, unless it's the Dark Phoenix saga, because they love that damn story, that they had a better idea. And no, you didn't. Because this is nowhere near as interesting a character arc for Logan. To me, it's sad that Hugh Jackman goes out on this. Again, I honestly think it's the best X-Men type character film other than Deadpool since X2. But this could have been great, and instead it's just good. And that's, again, on Fox for booting it once more. I will say, there is a Deadpool sequence in it. It's not post-credits, so if you do go see the movie, and you should go see the movie, as soon as the credits start, get out of the theaters. There's no post-credit sequence. The cool thing is the Deadpool segment comes at the very beginning. It is hilarious. It is awesome. It, again, is a great satire on one of the superhero tenets of, just things that are in a lot of superhero films, and absolutely flips it on its head. It's awesome in a very sardonic, sick Deadpool way. It's terrific. So that alone is almost worth seeing. So again, I'm not saying don't go see Logan, but if you've read the book, you might want to think twice about it because it is not the book at all. Hugh Jackman is very cool. Patrick Stewart's very cool, but this is not the Old Man Logan story whatsoever. It's just an entirely different concept, and it's a shame.
See, something that was big in the Dark Phoenix story that they keep wanting to go back and doing. Donald Pierce was one of the big bad guys in that series. Granted, he was not part of the Reavers yet. He was still part of the Hellfire Club, which they still haven't introduced.
Because why move on to something that's interesting? Let's just make up our own crap, unless it's Dark Phoenix. But because that's all they do, and it's very disappointing that they. And like I said, it's weird because it sounds like I'm saying don't go see Logan. It's like, yeah, you should go see Logan. It's cool. It's fun. But if you've read the book, be prepared for something. They kind of took about a third of the concept and did something entirely different with it. So just
the
keep
book
it at
is
that.
not a spoiler. How's that?
No, the book is not a spoiler. By all means, read the book because it has virtually nothing to do with the movie. And frankly, the book costs about the same as getting the movie, and you'll like it better. So go read Old Man Logan. Then go see the movie. Oh, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, I don't want to get started on the X-Men movies because I'll go off on them for another day or
That's okay. We have a day or two. We were talking about...
collected the book for 20 years, and you can't make it. You've got 60 years of source material. You might want to use some of it sometime. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that would kind of make sense. I mean, you did pay money for the rights. And if you're not going to use it, just give it to Marvel Studios already, would you please? So we can finally get, for the first time in decades, literally, a good X-Men movie. But
exactly.
We were talking about box office. I did want to mention The Great Wall, which did great overseas, almost 280 million. Here, 41 million, which not so good for a movie that cost $150 million to make. So they took a $75 million write-off on this as far as the U.S. is concerned. They just said, okay, not that you can't go see it still, but I mean, they've already admitted why this absolutely tanked. And yeah, it should have, because this is the kind of movie that you've turned on TV sometime when you've run out of things to binge watch. It's not worth going to see at the movie theater. It's big and it's loud and it's flashy, and that part of it is cool, but it's just so predictable and kind of boring, and there's no character development whatsoever. It's just, oh, look, monsters.
The kind of thing that would have been good last night, because I talked to my mom last night, who lives in Tennessee, and she said one of the big highlights in the newspaper, because she still gets those, was the best thing to watch on TV tomorrow night is the North Carolina Duke game.
Oh my God!
Someone who lives in. So, there was obviously nothing on last night. Last night would have been a good time to debut the Great Wall on the FX
would have
been.
Or something. I'm glad you mentioned that. We never talk sports on the show, and we shouldn't, because it's not what it's about. But this goes into entertainment. They were hyping this game as if both teams were undefeated. Which of course they couldn't have been, because they had already played each other once. But
they already played each other, didn't they?
They did. They were advertising this game like I saw advertisements for it 3 or 4 times this week, and I don't watch ESPN that much. But it's like Monday they were hyping this as if you think it was the damn Final Four. It's a regular season game.
No.
They've got a lot of there's a lot of history, of course, but I think they were ranked at the time number 4 and number 12, or number 4 and 16. It's like, I'm not saying it wasn't a worthwhile game to watch, but I mean, to hype it as much as they did, are you serious? They must have spent millions. Well, it's their thing, so they didn't spend any money, but they gave up potential ad revenue in hyping this one. Of course, they were trying to boost the ratings so they would get more advertising dollars during the broadcast, but it's a friggin' regular season college game between 2 really good schools. I mean, the hype just, I really didn't understand it. It was like, are you freaking kidding me? Sometimes you really got to wonder what the hell goes into these people's heads.
You want to start some hype on a new movie?
Oh, yes, let's.
We can do this. I made a trailer earlier this week because it hit me that this could actually be made into a movie. So let's see how this goes. New from Dodecahedron Pictures comes a film, a documentary about a man named Manny Castillo. He worked in the crow's nest aboard a ship called the Santa Maria. His eyes were the first to see the new world. Unfortunately, he had a bad stutter, so when he saw America in all its beautiful splendor, all he could say was, la 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 land. Now, in a feature documentary that's twice as good as La La Land, see how America was really discovered through the eyes of the man who saw it first. Well, okay, the European man who saw it first. Okay, a European man who is part of the group we teach elementary school children saw it first. La 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 land. It's okay, man, we see it. This film has not yet been created. Parental discretion is advised. And I'm fairly certain I'm going to hell for that. But,
pretty sure you are, too.
Don't bother writing the show about this. It's not real. I'm just being silly.
It sounds like a companion piece for the Crimson Permanent Assurance.
That's my segue into this. We actually have a lot of new stuff for the show, including an email address and a website. What a concept. CinemaSavants.com is finally online, including our movie recommendation site. It's not reviews. It's whether you should actually just see the movie or not. Spoiler-free, and it'll make sense if you see it. CinemaSavants.com. If you want to email the show, it's cinemasavants@coilentertainmentnetwork.com. Coil is COYL because that's how it's spelled. So there. But yeah, check those out if you want to get in touch with us. We've got we put the show up on there. We've got show notes and a picture of Todd with a multicolored beard. So yeah, go check it out.
Pretty awesome.
It's a fun little site.
It is a fun little site, and it will become more fun and more. Well, it won't become more little. That would be strange, but it will become slightly larger, but still little as we continue on in life. That is a good look for me, since I don't have any good looks. But that is a good look. The red and green beard is a good look.
I think it's a good look for you.
Yeah, I will have to bring that back. That would actually be never. But anyway, it is a good place to go for, as you said, they're not, and eventually I think we'll throw up some reviews, and you will probably throw up when you read the reviews. But we'll put some on there. But I do like your concept of the quick, should I go see it? Because it's just like you can look at it quick, and even if you don't even have to read the icons, you can just see if there's a lot of green, you should go see it. If there's a lot of red, no, you shouldn't see it. It's as simple as that. But there is a lot more. There's more detail, specific reasons, and just should you go see it now? Should you wait? Blah 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 blah. But it's as simple as red green. So, and in case
there is you're make up your own mind if you like the trailer.
Yeah, there you go.
Because there are some movies out there where you just kind of go,
Oh yeah. Well, and to be fair, Rob typically has better opinions on movies, but Rob sometimes is even fallible. Just because we both like a movie, you may still hate it. We may both hate a movie. It may be your favorite. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're wrong. But you have the freedom to be wrong. This is still America. Last time I checked my watch, but that might change by tomorrow, so we'll just have to keep up with the news. But as it stands right now, yes, you do have the right to have your own opinion, even though it's wrong.
Yes.
So, if you do like Adam Sandler movies, well, they're wrong, but you can still watch them. They haven't taken them off Netflix yet. Although I think he's on his last movie. Please be on your last movie. Oh, my God. That's such a strange thing.
I don't.
But in a way, it's a public service, because that's one less thing that you have to put in your calendar for binge watching. It allows you more time to watch the things that are good. So thank you, Adam Sandler, for giving me extra time to watch good shows. So I never thought of it that way. So you are performing a public service over the last 15 years of careers. So thanks. Your suckitude is most welcome. Ugh.
Just stop putting out trailers so we don't have to watch you at all. I'm thinking.
It is irritating when you load up Netflix and the newest Adam Sandler thing has popped up, and that's the first thing. I have to scroll down to get past it. I was like, don't do that to me anymore. I have to, I could filter it out if I was watching just on my laptop, but I'm not. You don't have the cool. That's one thing they really need to do. But the fact that you can load up all the filters and you can put in the weird secret categories in Netflix if you're watching on a PC, you can do Netflix /17713, which gives you like dark noir Brazilian comedies, starring Peter Sellers or whatever the bizarre subcategory is, because that wouldn't surprise me that wasn't a Netflix subcategory. You can't do that when you're watching on television. It makes me sad. I
heard Alexander Sedek was in those movies too.
Probably is. Next week we will have more happy stuff. I was thinking about this, and I didn't think about it until too late, but so I will just mention this on air, as it were. I thought it would be fun to identify franchises that have been around for a long time, like James Bond, a character who's been around for almost forever, and just say who our 3 favorite actors are who played the role. For instance, like James Bond. I was thinking Doctor Who. Superman.
It's weird that you mentioned that, because I have some Bond news that I was trying to figure out how to work in, but I can't until you brought it up.
Now.
Last week, Daniel Craig became the second longest serving actor to play James Bond, which is kind of weird.
That is strange.
He's only done 4 movies, but he's been doing it for 10 years. And I looked at this, and there's a bit of a discrepancy, because they're saying Roger Moore has done it the most, 7 movies over 12 years. But I count Never Say Never Again, so Connery did 7 movies over 20 years. Because if you don't count Never Say Never Again, it's only 9. which is what they're saying. Craig passed, and screw it, bring back Timothy Dalton. I liked his movies best anyway.
And which is interesting. Yeah, Never Say Never Again. They don't count it because it's not part of the canon. It wasn't produced by the Broccoli people, but it's a Bond movie. You know, they just happen to get the rights to that particular story, and it's a Bond movie, and it's, for my money, the best Bond, and not the worst Bond in anybody's by any stretch of the imagination. And it's interesting because he is older, because again, it's 20 years, like he said, after he did Dr. No, but they make a point of he's a little older, he's a little slower, and et cetera, et cetera. They don't overdo it though. But it's a cool movie. It's a good one. It holds up fairly well. It's good stuff.
Except for the horse.
It's much better than Roger Moore in anything. That candy ass. He couldn't beat Adam Sandler in a fight. Damn, that pisses me off. Roger Moore. Awful. Not awful. I like him in The Saint, the TV show, the old TV show, The Saint. Very cool. That fits the character.
See, there you go.
Roger Moore couldn't kill anybody. He couldn't kill an ant. And it's like, this guy is a licensed killer. It's like, no, I don't believe it. That's why I like Daniel Craig so much, because, yeah, that guy, he probably kills people in real life just for the hell of it. He looks like it, so I can believe he
was
a
a stormtrooper.
So. Yes, he was. Which actually, since he was a stormtrooper, he probably didn't kill anybody because they never hit anybody. We know that. So
that's true.
Aye.
What kind of shows you guys got coming up this week?
As always, there will be a Cover 32 Seahawks show on Tuesday, and there will be a Late Night Parents on Wednesday, and Saturday, perhaps, there will be... We didn't do the baseball show yesterday because Ted was otherwise occupied with a compelling personal reason, and Lee was ill. Lee had something similar to what you have, and you're a trooper. You show up for shows. Lee just says, "No, I'm at death's door. I can't work." So I'm very pleased that you made it for today. But yeah, Lee was really ill, so we didn't do it. But hopefully we'll do it this Saturday. And of course, on the Coil Network, there are many fine shows.
On the Coil Network, this week we have. There will be a Whaaats show this week. Woo! Depends on how I'm feeling, but probably tomorrow. And if nothing else, just for the tech news, because I have got the most bizarre technology news that ever. So tune into that, and 2 pages of mystery, which will be undergoing a facelift soon. But I'll get to that later. This week, we have a story in which Lieutenant Wright gets involved with the world of online fashion as fashionista Tiffany Vanderhagen is found dead after meeting with some of the biggest designers in town in a story called Dinner at Tiffany's. Because it's good.
Because you could. I like it.
Yes. It works.
It does work.
That's fun. That's all I've got for this week. I need to go drug myself because
Yes. Go be ill.
How the hell did Lee give this to me? That's just weird.
He's a giving person. You know that.
Oh, swell. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Have a nice week.
Ariel! Oopa! Ride!
Do you think they will let me live in Montana? I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what?
Man, we have a weird job.
It's shameful, but it's a living.
Darn, that's the end.
If you own a small business, it's not a question of if some hacker is going to attempt to attack your company. It's a question of when. Let cyberpolicy.com keep you safe. CyberPolicy is the first end-to-end solution that combines cyber planning, security, and insurance. With CyberPolicy, your business will be protected against cyber attacks for as little as 40 cents a day. Visit cyberpolicy.com today and get a quote in just 4 minutes. cyberpolicy.com.
Do you wake up every day hoping your car's battery has one more start left? Now is the time to replace it with a quality Autocraft battery, because during the Advance Auto Parts Tax Madness Savings Event, you save 15% when you spend $50 or more, 20% when you spend over $100, and 25% when you spend over $150. In-store or online. Just text SAVE to 36898 to receive your coupon. Offer available at Advance Auto Parts at participating CarQuest stores. Ends March 12th.